Stone deck tech and gameplay video on Amass Control. Amass Control is a Demir deck that likes to just generally go after a control game plan and make use of all of the disparate Amass cards from new cards like Saruman's Trickery and all of the other Lord of the Rings Amass or not all of the other, some of the other Lord of the Rings Amass cards, and combine them with older Amass cards from War of the Spark, like Enter the God Eternals. And that's a way that we can sort of, or that's our our big creature that, you know, a good control deck needs to sort of close out the game after you've done all your counter spells and your interactions like your Bowmasters and Thought Seizes and Pushes. We want to basically make a big army and use that army to hit our opponent in the dome. For the most part, we also have Callum as another top-end threat, but it's a pretty self-explanatory little list. We like to control the board either through some counterspells or creature removal, summon big old armies from a variety of ways, and then have some weird glue cards like your Lilianas of the world and your Thought Seizes and Fatal Pushes to sort of bind these weird cards together into a deck that actually kind of works. And also gives me an opportunity to use weird little Amass cards that aren't sort of related, because Soul Diviner is basically it's not technically an Amass card, but it's an Amass payoff for us. And even Lazotep Channeler, which got randomly introduced a while ago, all these weird cool little Amass cards actually really made me want to try this list. Now so yeah, that was a long-winded way. I got a little bit off track, but anywho, the land base is basically pretty simple. Blue-black lands that, you know, you can play on the curve. You don't have to use fast lands here. It is control, so say if you're newer and your budget only has your temples, that's fine. But really, we're just looking for, you know, blue-black lands and some good utility lands here and there in, you know, various forms. Sideboard, relatively simple silver bullet cards, some more Fatal Push if we need more removal. Same thing for the Murderous Rider, although the Rider can hit Planeswalkers, which is nice. Tainted Remedy for life gain decks, because those are always floating around. Some Ashiok Dream Renders for usually your Reanimators of the world. Disdainful Strokes and Negates are just if we need more control-y tools, and they're not against other control decks or are really non-creature heavy things. We'll usually bring these in. And Ritual of Soot is for your goblins and really your elves of the world. Anything that wants to go wide, your Ritual of Soot is a good sweeper for that. Now, with that all out of the way, don't forget to like the video if you like it, subscribe if you like my grab bag of content, and would like to see more in the future. And with that all out of the way, we also go on to game number 1. And game number 1 with our little Amass Control. Go ahead and play first because we have a brain. It's not... Okay, this isn't great. We don't have any blue sources, but we got things to do until we draw one. Turn 1 play will, I think, guaranteed be a Thoughtseize. So our opponent's running a normal-sized deck. Pardon? Let me try that one more time. Our opponent is running a normal-sized deck, as I've run into a couple of goofball lists over the last couple of days of testing, where they're trying to run you know, a couple over 100 cards and stuff like that without Yorion, stuff like that. Anywho, Thoughtseize on 1. We'll see what our opponent is doing. Wow, why? Well, that's an that's okay. To be fair, I do ish like that all the time. I'm not better than that, so I can be a little honest with myself about that. We'll go ahead and shotgun the Watery Grave. This way we can, at the end of their turn, play a Bowmaster. Admittedly, they could just remove it immediately. It wouldn't be the most surprising. But right now, we're just looking to apply... You get some creatures on the board. Just apply some pressure. Go ahead and play a land. Go ahead and swing in. We have Lazotep Plating. Another one of those weird, disparate Amass cards that otherwise would never see play. Actually kind of works here. Founding the Third Path. I guess, are you gonna, yeah. No, from your hand. Okay. What are you casting from your hand? I mean... Okay, was it mill this whole time? I mean, okay. I think we do okay here, right? And that didn't give them any chance for, what's the word? Priority. Honestly, doing pretty damn good. What's the next one? Mills 4 cards. Yeah, I think we're gonna be largely okay. We're probably gonna take out the fatal pushes and maybe bring in some negates, as they appear to be a little more... Well, no, we can continue my thought. As they appear to be more non-creature-y mill and a little less like the rogue decks of the world kind of thing. You know, maybe we actually... Maybe the soul... Well... Yeah, okay, let's stick to the original plan. I don't think pushes are going to be that useful here. I'm going to go ahead and bring in some negates. I guess that's the question. Do I bring in Disdainful Strokes? Because, well... Yeah, sure. We'll go ahead and take out the Soul Diviners, because we don't want too much card draw. Especially in against a mill matchup, as that's sort of advancing our opponent's game plan. I mean, we want to have some card draw, as evidenced by the Palantir still being in the list amongst, like, also, like, commence the end game or whatever. Another one of those weird, disparate, you know, off in a corner Amass cards. This is fine. Yeah, it's fine. We can't cast the Liliana, but I'm, like, okay with that, honestly. Let's see. I'm trying to think of, like... Because I haven't gone against the pure mill with this particular list, but, I mean, hell, I'm almost certain you can see it on the channel. I've gone against it in others. Oh, Ruin Crab. Okay, that's... To be fair, that is one creature I kind of forgot about. I guess that's the million-dollar question. I think if we draw another black source, we'll probably play Liliana on 3. And to be fair, maybe they do have all of those random crab, like the Ruin Crab and the snow permanent one, whose name I can't remember, that I have sitting in some weird Simic Mill list that I want to try in the future. But anywho, we'll figure it out. Okay, it's going pretty good. Okay, so maybe the pushes were actually, like, good to have in here. They might have just not drawn their creatures, and I, like, made a bad call based on admittedly incomplete information. That if that happens to, like, bite me in the butt, that... Let this be a warning to you. Not only do you have to rely on the information given, I mean, yes, it's ladder, and you're not going to be able to account for everything, but for the most part, there is, like, a certain range of ish you can normally see, or can expect to normally see in the ladder. And mill happens enough that I should have been aware of the Ruin Crab being a thing, or being a, like, very real possibility. Whew. Pardon the yawn. I wonder which player is gonna mill 4 cards. Surprising to no one. Okay. Okay, we might lose this because I made that bad call, but that's fine. You know, no reason to attack with that. Our original plan of casting the Liliana is gonna be here. Odds are, I wouldn't be surprised if they have like a Drown in the Lock or something like that. So yeah, I think we're gonna, next game, we're probably gonna cut the Call of the Ring, or maybe cut one Call of the Ring, and maybe commence the end game to bring some fatal pushes back in. Because they probably have Rune Crabs, even if they don't have the Snow one, because they clearly haven't been using that kind of mana base. They probably have some Bruvac, whatever that card's called, or the like 2-mana rogue guy that when you attack. Yeah, there's probably more creatures in their list than I originally thought. I would not be surprised if a Drown in the Lock comes for this. Hey! Admittedly, Drown in the Lock is a beautiful card for Mill. It's fantastic. Gives like everything that list wants. Yeah, I think we're just gonna lose, aren't we? I believe we're, yeah, just gonna get our shit rocked, which is unfortunate. But to be fair, it is like fair and square. Can't really be too upset. Okay. Bit of an oddball duress, but sure, we'll go with that. That's fine. Probably gonna be a land. Yeah, sometimes you just feel particularly goofy. Although, with the one counterspell in our hand, they can't do anything that crazy. So that's not that bad. Yeah, we're gonna mill. Which is not good. Go ahead, have it tempt us. Our Calm Djinn here is like deeply not helpful. Although actually I can... Huh. Let me go ahead and tap this down. Just anything to put cards back in the list. Admittedly, it's just one card, and they're probably still going to mill us out. But really, it's just anything we can do to like squeeze little bits of like cards back in the deck. Because he's probably going to get cut in Game 3. Last Step Channeler is cute, but not in this particular circumstance. I think we'll just play a Palantir. Probably gets countered. This card is another one of those draw cards that incidentally plays into like what they want to do. But again, we talked about, I think I brushed on it earlier, you still want to have card draw. Mill, while not unheard of, is not so common that you're not going to run card draw. That would be goofy. Okay, he's going to win this. It's one of those, that's just what is going to happen. I'll give him one more. Wow, why? Just have me draw the card. Whatever. It's very odd. Again, doesn't really matter. But yeah, yep. We're good. I could sit here and wait and burn time, but we're just gonna go to Game 3. It's fine. Okay. I don't think our Djinn Emperor friend is going to be terribly good here. I don't think Call of the Ring is going to be that useful, so we're going to get rid of Palantir and Call of the Ring. Bring in 4 Fatal Pushes, because we're going to need them. And I think that's what we need to do. And it's totally cool, you know, again, sometimes you just make a bad call or have incomplete information. Not exactly a unheard of phenomena. Now, they might still get us here. But at least I feel better about like the choices I've made in sideboarding now than I did in Game 2. But of course, you know, hindsight's 20/20 and all that jazz. That's awkward. Okay, that's fine. We'll go ahead and play Barad-dûr, however you pronounce that. It's been a while since I've watched the movies or played those kick-ass RTS games. I love that game, man. There was like one for the 360 that I was fucking all about. That game like slapped. It's great. Anywho, go ahead and play a Hall of the Storm Giants while I can come into play untapped. We'll probably just play a Bowmaster. Probably isn't also going to do very much, unless they have that I think it's Thieves Guild Enforcer card, I think is the only card that could, in theory, hit. And even then, it's conditional. If he counters it, fine. Whatever. I was about to say, he might have a counter or removal, but yeah, I wouldn't... Yeah, I was about to say, I wouldn't think I would have countered that. That would have been a pretty weak one to counter. I guess I could go ahead and play March of the Black Gate. March from the Black Gate, sorry. Now, admittedly, a token gets killed by, like, damn near every removal spell they probably have in their deck. But this is one of those, we're just going to take what we can get here. Probably going to play Rivendell next turn. Upon further inspection, I forgot to take out the Disdainful Strokes, but I don't think it's going to matter. Kind of knew that was going to happen. Huh. Yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and push it. It is technically the more narrow of the two removal spells, so we'll go ahead and use that. Or use that first, anyway. We 100% will use Murderous Rider if given the opportunity. See what our opponent's going to do. If nothing else... Oh my god. Whew. If nothing else, the game is giving them priority from their desert. I've never even really... What is... River Lay? Okay. Never return. Hang on, let me... 1 second, 1 second. Just so I can look this up. How do you spell that again? Yeah, exactly how it sounds, yeah. Rivulet definition. Anywho, back to the game. They didn't play a creature, so I'm just gonna play the Rider. Having drawn another one, we sort of have the luxury of just playing the body first. They appear to be running out of cards, and we're like at an okay deck size. Okay, that's fine. Also, Rider, another one of those cards that will go back in the deck. That's gonna take both, isn't it? In that case, we'll just wait, yeah, till the end of the turn. Now, what is that? Rivulet, a very small stream. And our rivulets. Okay. Never a term I've really actually looked for before. Target player mills. Cool. That's fine. Doing his thing. Gonna wait until the end of the turn. Admittedly, they don't have any black sources up, so odds are this Bowmaster will live. Okay, so he can do the desert at instant speed. Which is what I assume they're waiting on. That was a little odd. The game kind of hiccuped there when I didn't expect it to. Anything? They're gonna activate it. Fair enough. How much is Storm Giant? It's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I have it technically, but not practically. I guess we can just go ahead and go face. If they bother to remove it somehow, we can always just make another, or amass more orcs, however you want to word it. But only having one black source so far anyway really limits what they can do. That requires a legendary creature, so we can't do that. Let's see, it's 1 black and you have to match, so black, 1, 2. So we could tap this. Opponent is, again, having priority for something, but it's probably just the desert in their hand, although it could be more than that now. Luckily, our little army token here is getting just progressively larger. And even if I lose this game, like in the abstract, I think it's done a pretty good job of kind of showing what the deck wants to do. If he removes the... Do I have to... Yeah, creature that this turn. And it can be any creature. It doesn't have to be my creature, I have to remember. Pretty good. We also maintain the Murderous Rider if he plays like a crab and we need to get rid of it, or just some creature that would otherwise be in the way. Kind of like that. Now. Okay, that's fine. I guess we'll, yeah, just gonna try it. Admittedly, they could remove our board now, which would kind of suck. And I couldn't in response to, or not in response, afterwards having a creature die, I couldn't then, you know, amass the orcs. But right now we're just trying to stem the bleeding. And when we're basically there, right? Yeah, alright. Good game from our opponent, though. Like, actually really good, and a pretty good showing for our particular little list. Now, we'll go on to game number 2. And game number 2 with our little Amass control list. That's fine. 3 lands, 4 spells, things to do. We'll go ahead and play the Castle Lochthwain on 1, since it was going to come and play tapped anyway, and we didn't even have things to do with it. Play a Hall of Storm Giants while coming to play untapped, and we'll play a Lazotep Chancellor, pardon. I know it's a weird card that I only know about from, like, occasionally combing my collection for cards, like cheap rarity cards that I don't own. Otherwise, I would never have known this card existed. But having a couple of Saruman's Trickery here, and, well, I was going to say as well as the Murderous Rider, but we don't have the 2 black for that. But next turn we will. We're in a pretty good position so far. Shieldred's Edict. I'm actually going to counter that. Admittedly, they could play a big scary creature, but if it's some sort of like Rakdos mid-range that's floating around, they're going to have loads of removal anyway. So like we're kind of in an okay spot going either way, whether they do or don't. See what our opponent's doing. Yeah, they're thinking. That was something. Even if they do like another edict, regardless of what they happen to pick, it's really not even that bad. The Dreadhorde Invasion is very good, but because we have a couple of good control cards or answers here to whatever they're going to do, we're just gonna plink away. Yeah, we'll counter that. Sure. I got enough card draw in here that would be very bad for us. Or maybe not very bad, but it sure as hell would be annoying. We're in a pretty good spot. Again, while our shields are down, if they have the removal, they have it. Ah, yes. Crucius, why haven't they banned him yet? Titan of the Waves. Or not banned, but tweaked him in some way, because this card is goddamn goofy. Oh, please. That's the funniest thing on the planet. Yeah, we'll go ahead and remove it now. Again, not great, but they clearly have the removal. It was gonna get removed at some point. Just go ahead and keep bonking away where we can. And even if we draw nothing but like a land next turn, we can always play the other Chancellor. Oh. What? Oh, hang on. Wait a second. How's this going to work?
Let's make this quick.
Oh, please let this... It doesn't... Whenever I discard... Isn't it each player? Because I have copies of this. Oh, this is hilarious. This is going to work in a way that I don't think they were prepared for. Oh, this is the funniest goddamn thing imaginable. In that case, I might as well just play the other Dreadhorde. Huh. Whenever you discard a card... I guess I have... Huh. I'm actually glad I did that for another reason. I'm not certain that I have to actually lose a card for the discarding to happen. Like, if I discard 0 cards, don't I still discard? Or does a card have to be... Okay, that's good enough. So a card has to be discarded in order to trigger the last attempt, which is honestly fine. Go ahead and draw. Soul Diviner is not that good. Jim Davis does have a really good point in that the One Ring is kind of a problem. I personally haven't found a whole lot of examples of it, but even I can see the writing on the wall of they might unironically have to ban the One Ring, or what I would like them to do, because I've sort of thought about this, and I know this is going to sound crazy for a non-vintage format. I would like to see the One Ring restricted. Why not? I mean, unless we're going to digitally alter it, but that will only solve Historic, and it won't solve the fact that Modern and Legacy and a lot of older formats are getting just wrecked by this thing. Go ahead and double block. It doesn't matter what we do here. We're fine either way. But my original point being that even if on Arena and Historic, which is my format, even if we get a digital rebalance, I don't want to just have to be like, oh, sorry, other formats, tough fucking luck. I don't think that has to go down like that. Oh, man, this is really, like, not that good. Yeah. We're in some goddamn trouble. But also, sorry, my original point. The One Ring being restricted would also kind of work thematically. Now, I'm a little scared that they won't because, you know, Hasbro or whatever, or even just, you know, whatever WotC board is concerned about the marketability of it so soon after its release, and we may have to wait a while. Because the fucked bit is because it basically went straight to Eternal formats, we're not getting... Oh, that still that has to die. Well, we can walk like that. The back to the original point. The point that is sort of fucked up about it is that it's not like it's standard, or even if it wasn't standard, this point wouldn't be the most applicable. But even if it wasn't a standard product where you could be like, it's gonna rotate out eventually, I don't know if that's the best policy to have. 3, 4, 5. Don't have it. Because it's gonna be too strong, and you can't... Not all formats that... Basically, every format but Historic doesn't really have the option to digitally errata the card. And I'm, like, a little concerned if how WotC is gonna handle this. Because overall, the set has actually been a whole hell of a lot of fun. And sincerely, like, people are, like, bitching and moaning about Orcish Bowmaster, but, like, not... How do I word this? Bowmaster is good, but it's... I don't think it's format warping in the same way the One Ring is. Like, this card is a good card, but it's not gonna do damage in the same way. Oh, fucking right. That was stupid. Yeah. That's better. Okay, that's better. I can do that. Go ahead, Orcish Bowmaster away there, Bowmaster. Because it sounds silly, but like a good while we're just going through the motions of a pretty boring game of just back and forth and making things happen, I might as well treat this as a pseudo podcast. One reason why, and this is a good example, what brought this up, why I'm not the most concerned about Bowmasters is, and this is sort of paradoxical. Is that the right way to describe that? it's one hell of a coincidence that a good answer to a Bowmaster is just another Bowmaster. Because the Bowmaster, at least in a vacuum, doesn't get stronger. It always stays a 1-1. Of course, you can buff it and do all this shit. That's not what we're talking about. Oh, that's good. But, like, a one... How do I word this? If both players play a one ring, like, one ring doesn't answer another. Anywho, sorry. That's all my rambliness, as well. I'll go back to commentating on the boring stuff now. What did he again discard? I thought, okay, yeah. Oh my god, I would have. You're gonna really hate that you didn't do that. Yeah, we'll draw. Sure. I can also scry and see what we're gonna get. Soul Diviner's pretty useless. That does make me wonder. Huh. Because we drew the Trickery, I think I'm actually not going to play the End of the God Eternal, especially now we do the other one. I think we're just going to go face. Like, we're actually in a pretty good spot. Liliana's actually the worst card in my hand. We're in a really good spot. You can't block creatures with power greater than it, isn't it? That's the thing. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you can block that if I understand that card correctly. Yeah, and now we just sit up with 2 counter spells back to back that will also grow our army, which is getting even better each and every turn with the Dreadhorde Invasion. Okay, correction. I can't counter that. Fair play, opponent. You caught me. Wow, that's game 1. That's questionable. Why? They were fine. They were fine. They were totally cool. Whatever. They didn't appear to have a whole lot of graveyard cards. Maybe we can cut some Thought Seizes for, like, a Rider and maybe another push. Because odds are they're going to have a Kroxa floating around in that list, and I don't want to give them any more cards in their graveyard than I have to. Oh, that's good. I really needed that little Lord of the Rings quote there. I really have to, like, at some point in the near-ish future, I gotta, like, get my hand on a copy of, like, a physical copy of all of the books, and, like, because I know they differ from the movies. I'm always gonna love the movies more because they were, like, my first exposure to it was the movies, and then, like, a lot of, like, the fun games, like those ARPG sort of hack and slashy games that came out at some point. Those were also phenomenal. A lot of fun anyway, as I remember them. That actually could just be a whole lot of nostalgia talking in the interest of fairness. We'll go ahead and play a Watery Grave on 1. Keep it open a push if they happen to play a Bowmaster. But yeah. Anywho, I would love to, like, get around to reading it eventually, but also money's a little tight right now and to, like, buy a whole lot of the books, because I would like to start out with The Hobbit, so I can, like, go in, like, canonical order, book-wise anyway. Let's see what our opponent's doing. Oh, I would bet a good amount of money they're sitting on a Bowmaster of their own. But like we talked about in the last game, in a way that makes me not that concerned about Bowmaster, a good answer to one Bowmaster is another. One of those, I'll say it again, while a Bowmaster is a good answer to a Bowmaster, and therefore sort of is like not to mention all the other things of just kill a Bowmaster, the One Ring also being indestructible means that, like, the One Ring doesn't share the same, what's the term, the same sort of self-balancing principle that Bowmasters does. Yeah, we'll go ahead and shotgun. Why not? So, yeah. So that's another reason why I really think that the One Ring is going to get a little strong. Especially the One Ring and Shieldred. That shit is goofy. Like, sincerely, that's, like, really fucking goofy. Doing pretty good. They could have another yawn. Whew. They could have another Bowmaster, but at which point, you know, I wasn't going to get out of it. Regardless. It was going to eat up my poor little old army. Our single copy of Commence the Endgame might be pretty good here. Oh, okay. Great minds and all that. Okay. Sure, that's fine. Oh, they missed a land drop. I wasn't even paying that much attention. Guess we'll go ahead and get rid of the swamp. We don't need the lands, and we'll eventually get to that commence the end game anyway. They don't have another land in hand, otherwise they probably would have kept that Fable. They might have... I would imagine they just drew that, because that would be weird not to play that Fable there. Doing pretty good. I guess keep upticking it. Go ahead, yeah, and just get rid of the land. We have interaction. Admittedly, it does make our commence the end game worse, but that's why it's down, you know, there's only a single copy in the list. Because at times, there are bits of this deck that, like, how do I word this? Don't super vibe well with the commence the end game. I argue it's still a fine-ish card, but it was also there primarily as another one of those, ooh, that's an interesting Amass card, so it went in the list. It just happened to, like, be kind of okay. See what our opponent's gonna do. Oh boy! There we go again. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, protection from everything. I mean, okay, that's fine. I guess we'll go ahead and draw a little bit. Any way to get our hand size up for the commence the end game is pretty good. Now, we're not going to do it again because we didn't have anything to actually do that turn. But now we have some Murderous Riders for the doubtless creatures that are going to be floating around. Or Liliana the Veil, that works too. I guess... Well, yeah, let's get rid of one. Get rid of the Liliana. I'm probably going to throw away my own Murderous Rider, or the other Murderous Rider I have. Yeah.
I'm tired of your secrets.
Yes. That's actually not that bad. I mean, losing the commence the end game sucks, but, like, I technically didn't even have the mana to play it. Yeah, they really, like, don't have a terribly good choice here. Yeah, either way, like, we were kind of okay. Oh, that's pretty good, though. Yeah, we'll go ahead and play the Rider. It's fine. I might very well eat my words and wish we had kept open the Trickery, but I don't feel great right now. For whatever reason, yeah, since the Lord of the Rings set released in the last, you know, and over those many weeks of testing over a couple of decks, I really haven't run into that many the One Rings. I mean, that kind of is annoying, but it's like not really that bad. I'm just gonna play Enter the God Eternals. Yeah, he's gonna go face and bonk with the rest. Okay, if nothing else, it's just giving them one ring priority. Oh, Fatal Push. Yes, annoying, but we'll be fine. Oh, good. They mulled over some pretty shit cards, all things considered. They're probably going to draw with the ring. Because the whole point is that you just, like, use all those one ring charges to dig really, really fucking deep to find another one ring. Well, that's cool. Oh, this is... yeah, that card's going to be a real problem. That might actually just be us out of the game. Sorry, what? Why? Why that card? Yeah! Yeah, that's a big oops, my man. Fuck. Okay, yeah, this is... I mean, this is like the first real experience I've had with it, but I've seen online other people having this same particular interaction, and dude, this is... If this is what this meta is going to become, I'm... To be fair, Rakdos has always been annoying, and it almost never catches bans, or nerfs in the case of Historic. For some reason, they just are real fond of this particular deck style. Oh man, we're oh boy. I don't know how well we... And I mean, I guess my point about, like, using one rings to find other one rings, it technically doesn't matter when you get to the final copy. But man, okay, that's fine. But that's like... That's a real, like, edge corner case thing. Because especially with Shieldred, there's just, like, no real... Like, there's especially no downside to running the one ring with your Shieldred, Apocalypse, whatever the hell 4-mana card that is. Dude, this is not good. This is really not good. And I can't counter that. Okay. I tap. Okay, we're gonna bring in some one ring. Well, now. The fuck do I do? Like, I mean, I guess I could negate that. But, like, last attempt... Diviner's a little cute. So I guess we'll bring in some negates. That's about as good as I can do. And to be fair, maybe that's the answer. Is just, like, run counter spells and, like, exile-based removal. This is just the first time I've had like first-hand experience with like, that particular like play pattern, and it feels very uncool. But having a moment here to like for having got out all of the negative salty thoughts and having my brain, you know, settle. There are probably ways against it, but boy oh boy, man, that when you get into that particular like. Guess we'll call it a lock, even though it's not a lock. But when you find yourself in that particular board state, when like they can just run the one rings and like crank them up really, really hard and like face little to no like downsides for doing it, dude, that's some real heavy feel bad moments. But I think we might just have to sort of be adults about this. And also, to be fair, I haven't seen like anything. What's the word? Approximating like empirical data to show like it's like the amount of the metagame it shows up in. So maybe this is just one of those like, yeah, every once in a while, you know, it sucks to go against a thing. Like your turbo fogs of the world. We're in a pretty good spot, right? I think we'll go ahead and put another blue down. I'll put the pathway down on blue. Luckily, I can sit here with the trickery. I hate to, but I kind of have to counter that. As that's really just going to chew up my resources in a way that I am not the coolest with. Go ahead and pay the 2. Oh, last step's very good here. In that case, I think we're just going to go with the Lazatep Chancellor. And we're just going to work off of these. I'm actually going to decline that. Also, this moment does show that, like, I know the Lazatep Chancellor seems like a weird include, but with the One Ring and Liliana, you actually have a good amount of discard spells. Or, spells. Sources is probably the way I'm looking to word that. That's fine. I think we're going to go ahead and push away their token here, as we would like to very much be able to just start attacking. Going to choose the Chancellor to be our ring bearer. Bowmaster is pretty cool, and a land is also very cool. So we're going to go ahead and shock that in, play the Palantir, keeping open either a last step plating or a negate if we need to. Again, sucks to not be able to... We'll go ahead and get rid of one of the Bowmasters. Sucks to not be able to, like, amass 2 like this, but right now we're in a good enough spot that I don't want to, like, what's the word, throw it away. We're pretty good, all things considered. I don't really need the other land. See if they give us the black gate, or we just ping them for a couple. Ping it for a couple. Let's see, then you mill X cards with a... Yeah, and you, okay, yeah. Scry 2, but then you mill equal to the amount of counters, not the scry. The card is it's a goddamn paragraph. Even though I've been playing with it for the last couple of weeks, I still, every once in a while, I gotta read this giant-ass block of text. Oh, boy, that's not great. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and play the Orcish Bowmaster here. Go ahead and ping face. Where he tempts me. Probably gonna do the... Well, we'll keep it on the Chancellor. That's fine. They... When I draw, I lose. When they draw, they gain too. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. That's fine. That's okay. Yeah. That is the million-dollar question. Okay, how the hell are we gonna do this? Leave discard card. Yeah, we're gonna tap this down. I think I can make this happen here. I don't know if I can. Can I kill him? Hang on, let me do some math here. Pay the 1. Yeah, I think I kill him, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 from the ring bearer. I think I got this, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Discard a swamp, that's fine. I'll lose the extra 2. We don't want to draw any more cards than we have to here. Go ahead and do it again, even just for the lulz. And then when we did damage... Yeah! Alright! Oh my god, that was... Thank god I got to show a game where the Lazatep Chancellor works. Because really, that card is not seen play anywhere else but this deck. Well, those were pretty good games to show off this particular little list. I've had a whole lot of fun with it. And I would recommend it if you were looking for... If you are, like me, a person who does not typically like pure control decks... And needs some sort of different angle to a control deck to make it, like, really fun and playable. Or it needs, like, you know, like, that needs a bit or a meme to, like, get me to play a control deck. This is, like, a good version of that idea. And we'll see, of course, you know, by the next video if I manage to actually get this Platinum tier all the way up to Diamond. So... With all that out of the way, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you like my grab bag of content and would like to see more in the future. And if you have any questions like, I don't have X, what about Y, or other, you know, generally nice and or somewhat constructive comments, I'll do what I can to respond to each. Remember to have a good day and be kind to one another, because, come on, the world's got plenty of hassles. It doesn't need any more of them. Alright, bye-bye.